4 years in India gave me a good opportunity to learn more about the system. Now, in your Ministry of Tourism, they are saying one life is not enough to learn all about India, and I think the same goes for the research community and the research institutions and the different ways for students to start off an academic career or research career. But what I would like to do today is that I really would like to know from you, after a long day, I mean, you might be a little bit tired, but I would like to know from you a little bit what you would be interested to know. What I can offer to you is, on the one hand side, of course, I can tell you about the research funding opportunities which are connected with the programs that we are funding at the DFG. I don't know whether you know that I'm also heading this German House for Research and Innovation as a coordinator, because it is one of the stakeholders of the representatives of German science and research in India. It's a very new endeavor. It's a little difficult to understand, but it will be more and more important also in the next years to know what this House for Research and Innovation is. So I try to explain it to you, what it is. You might have learned over the day that from the German side we have many things to offer. Yeah, we have fellowships, we have a wonderful research system, we have wonderful universities, we are having an excellent culture, and it's a pleasure to be in Germany, of course. You know, but when it comes to administration, you have to know a little bit how to go about it. You know, you have to know where's the money coming from, you have to know how do I get my visa, am I going into a university, or am I going into a Max Planck Institute, or am I going into another institute, and or I have heard of universities of applied sciences. What is this all about? You know, I'm pretty sure you learned a lot about the funding opportunities already, I mean, for you guys today. What you should know also when you go back home today is that we have created this German House for Research and Innovation to be a constant one-stop shop for everybody who is interested in the German research system, everybody who is interested to spend some time in Germany as a student or as a doctoral student or as a postdoc. And this house is pretty much existing in New Delhi, in Chanakyapuri. You will find representatives of most of the biggest universities and DAAD and my organization, because this house is a consortium. It's a consortium of all the big players when it comes to research in Germany. And you will find representatives of these big institutions, universities, DAAD, DFG, MPG, Max Planck, and others you will find in this house to gather information. We expect you there, right? And not only physically, but also virtually. That means if you don't want to travel to Delhi, obviously you could also check on our website about all the funding opportunities of all the different universities, of all the different funding organizations and science organizations are on this website. And I'll tell you the name of this website. It is www.dwih.in. dwih.in. When you go on the homepage of this DWIH, you will find the logos of all the different organizations, like the DAAD, but also the universities themselves, but also the DFG. And whatever you are interested in, you can just click on the logo and find more information on that. I think that is a nice entry point also into what our landscape is all about. And this is also the target of the house. You know, we would like to help a little bit to inform you better about what can be done and what we are offering as a consortium, as a group of research funding and research representatives. A little bit more inside view on what Germany is in terms of research. You have heard about DAAD. You may have heard already about other organizations here. Max Planck, I think a representative was here as well, right? Oh, that will be tomorrow. But let me just show you these few logos here, because you will find them everywhere when we talk about Germany and German research or studying in Germany. or being a part of a project as a student, even as a student, learn from a professor. Where do you find these professors? Yeah? Of course, we have these universities. Easy. Yeah, we have around a little bit more than 100 research active universities and many more universities of applied sciences. Yeah? These may be the first points for your interest, because they are teaching, but at the same time they're doing a little bit of research. So you can learn a lot in the lectures, but you can also learn a lot while taking a look into the little bit of research what is being done in the universities. Now, if someday you come in an interview for a position, maybe as a PhD student later on, or when you read something about the research system in Germany, you will always find this logo here. And this logo stands for one of the most famous research institutions in the world, which is the Max Planck Society. The Max Planck Society is a little bit what you have here in the CSIR. It's research institutes carrying out world-class research. And they do have lots and lots of positions in every area of science. In every discipline you will be able to find interesting projects, interesting professors, interesting research to be done. Even if you're not yet in your PhD. If you have 5 minutes and you don't know what to do, you're bored in some break or whatever, just click on Max Planck Society. It's pretty interesting what they're all doing. And these guys from the Max Planck Societies are producers of Nobel laureates. You know what Nobel laureates are? Yeah? Of course, it's the best scientists in the world. And in the Max Planck Society, they have most of the German Nobel laureates are actually working or have worked in the Max Planck Society. These two, Helmholtz Society and Leibniz Society, are two other research organizations. They're carrying out research. They're performing research, like the Max Planck Society. But they are a little bit more into the applied field. They have produced Nobel laureates. Just click a little bit on their institutes if you have time and check out what they are doing. It's quite fascinating. And this is when we talk about the German research landscape, and doing research might be interesting for you later as well. Click check out on these institutes. Now, and the more we're coming higher up on this axis, we are coming into applied research. And Fraunhofer, the Fraunhofer Gemeinschaft, is an institute who's doing research, but who's actually making money with it. So that might even be even more interesting to check out what they are doing. They also have their own institutes, Fraunhofer institutes, and they are doing research, but they are selling patents. And they are more interested in the products. So what's coming after the research? How do we apply the research? It's a very important part of the research, right? And we have a lot of PhD students also in the Fraunhofer institutes, but those are working on the very concrete application of the research. And afterwards, these patents and this knowledge is sold. It's sold. They're making money with it. Whereas in all these institutions, it is basic research. It's one step prior to applied research, of course. Now, I think I have confused you enough now with the German landscape, so I will skip all the rest. What I would like to tell you about is money. You know, so the question, who is actually funding all this research? You know, I talked about all these institutes, and I told you that they actually most of them are doing research just for the purpose of creating knowledge. But if you want to gain knowledge, of course, you have to invest something. And that has to come from somewhere. Yeah? It comes from organizations who are taking care of students, like DAAD. It comes from organizations like mine, the German Research Foundation, who are actually funding projects. My organization is funding more than 6,000 research projects every year. 6,000 research projects. And what is a research project? I mean, the structure of a research project. I mean, of course, it's research, but who's doing the research? Yes, exactly. Students and scholars. And how are they doing research? With their brain, of course. But what else do they need? library, equipment, consumables. So what they need at the end of the day is this, yeah? And if we talk about money for students, it's an important point for you guys, because in all of our projects, in all these 6,000 new projects that we are funding every year, it's a huge amount, yeah? Every one of these 6,000 projects is one PI, one principal investigator, plus several PhD students, a postdoc. So there are so many open positions in these projects. So I think you should definitely take a look in the projects that we are funding, yeah? Because there are always open positions, right? The difference to what Apuf, Mahendra might have told you, is that if you apply to DAAD, you apply for the sake of your own career. The DAAD will check on your CV. The DAAD will check on what is actually your background, your interest, and what do you exactly want to do as a person. What we check at the DFG, German Research Foundation, my organization, we actually give the money to the professor, and you have to interact with the professor, right? So if you want to do research, or if you want to act as a student, you know, as a student assistant in a project, or later as a PhD student in one of our projects, you have to check on our website what kind of projects are already going on, yeah? And it's easy to find out, and I will tell you how you can do that. I'm skipping all this. So this I want to show you. We have project databases available free of charge on our website in English language, and I would like to recommend you to write down these two words here. One is what we call Institute Research Explorer. It's like a dictionary. If you're interested about German research institutions, or if you want to know, does this university where I have a friend cover also my field of interest, then you please take a look on the Research Explorer. You know, this is our website, dfg.de. This is called Research Explorer. It's easy to find. Number one, very interesting. It's a very helpful tool, I think. Everybody agrees. Number two is a project database. And this is the one I was just talking about. This database is huge because it contains all the projects that are running at the moment, all the projects, of course, that are closed. And it's interesting for you because you just enter a keyword of your field of interest. Say nano. You just put nano, and then the database will give you all DFG-funded projects in the field of nanomaterials or whatever. Yeah, and then you can check the project summary, but more importantly, you can check the name of the professor who's running this project. And this gives you a wonderful first impression, whom to contact if you're interested in something very specific, you know, in organic chemistry. You know, and you just put the keyword and you see, oh, this professor has done a DFG project, or 2 or 3 or 10. Then you check on his website, on the website of the professor. Yeah? And you get in touch, write an email. And I think maybe DAAD might have already told you how to write an email to a German professor. You have already done that? Yeah. Okay. So, but please check on these two websites. Yeah? Because they will be very helpful when it comes to very specific topics, your field of interest. Check on this website. Now, what I would also like to tell you is where you can reach us. If you are interested in getting more information about the DFG projects, please check on my website, on the website of my organization, which is based in New Delhi. And please write down the telephone number. You can also address us over phone, because this is what we are here for. You know, we are all here for interacting with you. And please give us a call. The team of the DFG, you know, this project funding organization which I'm heading in India, we have around 8-9 people who can reply to your questions. You can also write us an email, and you can also reach us under the DWIH.in address. So just to summarize, I mean, this formal, a little bit more formal, serious part of my talk, I would like to summarize. Yeah, we have a DWIH where you find all the relevant German institutions. We call it DWIH, German House for Research and Innovation. And you find us on the web, dwih.in, and you can find all the logos of the big universities in Germany, old universities, fascinating professors. You find the logos on that website. If you are more coming from the thematic point of view, yeah, then you check on this project database. If you come more from the geographic angle, and you say, oh, I would love to go to Munich, there's this nice beer, and I had a couple of friends who got married there, I absolutely want to know, but I don't know whether they're covering my topic, go on this database, this institutional database, which we call the Research Explorer. Yeah? Now, I could tell you many, many more things, but I'm a little bit scared that you're falling asleep with this. Obviously, I could tell you a little bit more about project examples. What are we actually funding in India? We do invest into Indo-German collaboration in science more or less every year, 15 million euros. Now, how much is this in rupees? It's around 70 crores? How much is 15 million euros? Who knows it gets a prize? I think it's 7 crores. Is that possible? 70 crores. 70 crore rupees. So it's a lot of money. And most of the money which we spend is actually for PhD students. Because PhD students are getting decent salary in Germany.